Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Beth and today we are doing social media platforms as character designs. I think there was one of these art challenges that used to be around a couple years ago on YouTube, and I thought I would bring it back because these were really fun. I decided to do TikTok, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Reddit. I did also record the sketching phase for you. I always thought that it was the most interesting part of these videos, but for some reason my iPad didn't like that and the screen record didn't work. So we're just gonna start out here. The most of the sketches is already done, but you can see me like form the characters and the outfits a bit. And by the way, I used all of these platforms myself, except for LinkedIn, because some people could be offended by this. I don't know how, but it crossed my mind. And if you are like an avid LinkedIn user and you're like gonna put on your white armor to defend LinkedIn, uh, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's at this point, it's not my problem anymore. But here you can see me start doing the outfit for TikTok. I feel like TikTok would be like a sporty gal who is up at 5 to doom scroll for 2 hours and then she goes jogging. I also do TikTok and Tumblr together because I feel like they would be really good friends. Like there's a big overlap in the communities, I guess, especially in the like nerdy communities where I'm in like the cosplay community or the general anime community. But Tumblr used to be a lot different actually. These little corners of Tumblr that I grew up with still exist for a big part, but they're not as popular anymore, which is probably better. I don't know. Some people are probably gonna know what I'm talking about. I also gave Tumblr mangas and Converse and thigh highs, like the whole thing. I don't even remember if like Converse were that much of a Tumblr thing. It just reminds me of the time, I guess. I thought Converse were so cool at 13 to 14. I think I still got a pair from that time, even it has like little skulls on it with strawberries. I was just like, all the cool people are wearing that. I gotta have that. And they were also part of Tumblr's emo and skater aesthetic that used to be so big back then. You can probably tell that I spent many of my formative years on Tumblr, for the better or for the worse. It's still a really cool place for like fandom stuff if you want to read incorrect quotes or short fan fiction, longer fan fiction, or look at fan art. There's still a really active community on Tumblr for most shows and fandoms, honestly. I'm also still on Tumblr. I post like my characters and the little animations I make for them. I make like little 2D animations. I don't know if you've seen, but you can check out my Tumblr. It's in the description. Gotta say, I still feel super cringe with the whole talking into a microphone thing, but it's gonna get better. We're gonna have to get through it together. Now here you can see me do some line art and shading. I'm using the same brush for that, but like different layers, so I can color in the shading in a deeper skin tone later. It's also just a habit to save time. The style with the translucent line art, it's way better than when I did like solid black line art. I was always trying to fix the fucking line and it took forever. So you gotta find shortcuts for styles you like, for things you want to do, because if you don't, you're gonna spend months on one drawing and maybe it's not even that good. That's like the thing. When you spend more time on something, that doesn't automatically make it good or make it perfect, especially when you're like just starting out. Just pump that shit out of there. It's gonna get better. Especially if you want to do the kind of art where you have to draw stuff over and over and over again, like animation or comics, like I do. You're really gonna want to simplify your style a bit. I know that sounds super dumb. I hated hearing that. But it doesn't have to mean that it looks worse, and that's something you discover along the way, kind of. Here you can already see me do the color filling, which is something I always do to alpha lock the layer, and then I can put the colors in how they are supposed to be, and I don't have to be careful anymore where I color. And yes, I did give the Reddit character a receding hairline and a fedora he's tipping right now. Um, Redditors, you're just gonna have to live with this one, you know why. Reddit is super helpful though if you have some kind of technology problem. Like, I don't know why I'm a digital native or whatever, but I literally can't with computers and shit. I've already had so many issues while trying to record videos and figuring out how to edit them and stuff. But Reddit is helpful most of the time, and sometimes it's just a thread of somebody asking a question, and then they get like insulted in the comments for how dumb they are, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I've got that problem too. Here you can see me choose everyone's hair color and hairstyle. I didn't want to get too detailed with it. But I had to give Instagram a blonde, messy bun, of course, that she probably spent 30 minutes for in front of the mirror, trying to make it look effortlessly perfect. Takes a lot of effort. Now, I guess LinkedIn also has somewhat of a receding hairline, but he's supposed to be like an older character. I feel like the crowd on LinkedIn is a bit older, so he's allowed to have the receding hairline. I think I wanted to add LinkedIn because of the cool color scheme their logo has. I felt like it would be perfect for like a dress shirt and nice pants with the blue and the white. But I've never been on LinkedIn and I'm not planning to. Maybe at some point I need to, because in some lines of work, like when you're a designer, I think you need a LinkedIn. I'm not trying to become a designer. It's just plan B, I guess. So here I'm doing the eyes. I really wanted Instagram to have like a color gradient in her eyes. In general, I really try to match the aesthetic of each platform, even though it's a huge generalization, obviously. And next there's TikTok. Love TikTok. A lot of older people will be like, TikTok is brain rot and it fries your dopamine system. And they're right, kind of. But I love the community there. I first got onto TikTok during 2020, COVID, first lockdown. It was super scary. I did not deal well with it at all mentally. And I don't know, TikTok just helped me feel normal about it. Everyone was talking about how they feel so openly on the internet, which was really nice to see. And this 2020 e-kit TikTok was also mostly full of people who wouldn't really judge you for anything. Maybe I do this thing where I'm retrospectively making it look like the time was better than it was for myself. But I feel like I've been reading so many more mean comments on TikTok nowadays than I did back in 2020. Like, maybe everyone knew that everyone is feeling really bad and people just wanted to uplift each other. It was wholesome. That was also around the time when I figured out my gender identity a bit better. And TikTok definitely helped show me how diverse that concept even is and how diverse people are. It was super cool. And here you can see me color in the line art. I like to make it a really dark brownish color version of the main skin color. That just It's just that subtle difference between black and this deep brown that makes the art feel so much more alive, especially since the outline is translucent. Next, you can see me do some shading, still the same brush. I think I really like what I did with Instagram and her outfit with the color gradient. It looks really fun. Um, I feel like Instagram has become a bad platform for artists. I know that's not exactly an original take or anything, but I used to be on Instagram when I was like 15 and started posting my art for the first time. I kid you not, my account name was Minami Meowts and I had like 200 followers. I lost that account at some point. But back then, you could actually make artist friends through Instagram. I don't know if I haven't been trying hard enough, but it seems like that's not really a thing anymore. Anyways, I'm glad that this video concept gave me the opportunity to talk about my internet nostalgia for a bit. I feel like a lot of people in our generation, like Gen Z, me included, who didn't have a lot of friends when they were kids, really grew up in and with the internet. Our role models were YouTubers and some influencers. Our friends were our gaming buddies or 40-year-old men who tried to groom us. Our passions were reinforced or discovered on the internet. My own passion for art is heavily influenced by webcomics and other people's digital paintings. Don't even get me started on fan culture. Personally, I started writing because of fan fiction. I wanted to write fan fiction, so I learned some basic writing skills and now I'm writing my own stories. So I don't know, sometimes when people make social media out to be this purely evil thing where bad stuff happens and bad people go to insult each other, I always feel a bit like a nationalist person defending my country in front of their opinion. But it wasn't all bad. That's what I'm saying. I would be a different person today without the internet and social media, and I don't know, I'm glad it came the way it came. And I am glad that I'm almost done with this video now. um I did notice that this took a lot of time. I drew for 5 hours, I think. It's pretty good for a group shot like that. I don't really do much of these. I should do more since I'm working towards starting a comic and you kind of need those. But I think in order to manage the 500 projects I'm doing right now, the next video is just gonna be me taking you along on my design process with different stuff for my comic. I feel like that could also be interesting for some of you. And it gets me to talk about my characters, which is like my favorite thing in the whole world. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. Feel free to check out the one other video I made so far. There's one. You can go watch it. And I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Be nice to people. See ya.